this comment says, bro forgot that God made the impossible possible. No, I didn't forget that that's a claim that a lot of Christians make. The weird thing about this claim, though, is oftentimes you will see Christians get mad when I use it to point out flaws in their own arguments, because for some reason it's only acceptable when they use it for their gain. So when you say, well, a worldwide flood is literally physically not possible, many Christians will say, well, it doesn't matter because God can do anything, so he just made it happen. But then when I point out that if God is able to literally do anything and make the impossible possible, then the entire argument for free will completely falls apart, and the idea of God being good falls apart with that. Because if sin is a requirement to go along with free will, and that's how God is good but allows harm to happen because he wants us to have free will to choose him, then that immediately falls apart when you consider that God is supposed to be all-powerful. Because if he is all-powerful, then there is literally no reason you can ever come up with that he couldn't have made a world completely harm-free, suffering-free, where people also have free will. If God is all-powerful, if he can do literally anything, if nothing is impossible for him, then that means making a world full of suffering and harm was his choice, and it was for no reason other than because he chose it. Because there are no requirements for an all-powerful God. There is nothing that can hold an all-powerful God back. There is nothing that can make it impossible for that God to create a system where there is free will and absolutely zero harm that ever happens. Those things don't go hand in hand. You cannot have an all-powerful being that can't do something, or he's not all-powerful. And if you think it's impossible, well, it doesn't matter because he can make the impossible possible. Unless he can't do that, and in that case, then how did he supposedly create a worldwide flood? How did he supposedly speak everything into existence? How did he cause plagues in Egypt? How did he split the sea? Well, if he can't do the impossible, then he can't do those things. If you put a limitation on that God's power, you have the problem of him not being able to do those things. But if you don't put a limitation on his power, then you have the issue of, well, then he literally chose to have harm. He chose to have suffering. And he could have made it a different way. So no, I did not forget that. The fact is, it just doesn't make sense for a God who is also supposed to be good. So no matter what way you look at it, that God is either not powerful or it's not good. Or, of course, it doesn't exist.